from a VC standpoint, the key to startup is really how viral they can get. This is like the age of AI revolution, the age of social media, right? Product market fit is almost how viral you can be.
This is season 2, the very first episode.
In 2025, 2026, a lot of the startup can have to be more specialized. You're gonna have to go into vertical AI where you're actually solving real problem for a particular industry. A lot of the AI companies startup, they're gonna need to get to that product market fit fast. And the best way to do it is leveraging social media. So I would always say virality is a product now and the future. How can you go viral?
Something that's truly viral cannot be fabricated. You have to it has to resonate with people. It has to bring meaning to people. And the reason something goes viral is because it does something that resonates deep inside. VC Arena is a community where venture capitalists meet founders to face off on due diligence for evaluation, funding, and feedback on their businesses to accelerate their startup's growth. AI Connex is a global AI consulting firm dedicated to empowering businesses with AI solutions.
I just want to say that I'm happy to be here again, together with my friend Sanjay. It's been an honor, and it's been already a year. And within the past 1 year in itself, things have changed a lot, right, in the AI space. I love this show. You've been a good friend and supporter of AI Connect and the community. We all try to support each other. We have grown a lot. It's easy to start a company, to build a product. It's hard to actually be successful in landing them, and it's harder to find a clear product market fit and a story. I think the most important thing is understand that story. What is your story?
All right, everybody, welcome to the AI Space Podcast. This is season 2, the very first episode. I've invited back Dan Sinawat, founder and CEO of AI Connex and VC Arena. Dan, tell us what we're going to cover on this episode.
Oh, wow, we're covering so many things, but I think there's 3 key points that we touch on. One is the trend for 2026, where I think the big thing is going to happen is private AI, physical AI usage. Second is innovation and humanity, how we talk about leveraging AI to help people. And it's the first time in I don't know how many years since AI launched that there's some positive and warm things about AI that you can find out. And the last thing is World Cup and what's going to happen for all of us in 2026 when the whole world is here, and how we can leveraging AI to actually be prepared and solve some of the issues.
Awesome, man. We have Dan helping us launch season 2 of the AI Space Podcast. A special announcement. We're moving from bi-weekly podcast sessions to now we're going to go weekly. So every week we're going to have a new episode. Dan, I'm looking forward to this episode. Everyone watch now. Thanks. All right, everybody. Welcome to the AI Space Podcast. AI isn't just a future. It's a force rewriting the rules of business, wealth creation, and society. If you're a founder, innovator, or technologist, this is the AI show for you. The question you have to ask yourself is, will I blaze the path, follow the crowd, or be left in the dust? Wow, this is season 2, the very first episode, and we're thrilled to have back Dan Sinawat, founder and CEO at AI Connex and VC Arena. VC Arena is a community where venture capitalists meet founders to face off on due diligence for evaluation, funding, and feedback on their businesses to accelerate their startup's growth. AI Connex is a global AI consulting firm dedicated to empowering businesses with AI solutions. Dan Sinawat is a visionary leader in the artificial intelligence sector and has been instrumental in fostering a global AI community. He's recognized as one of the most innovative leaders in AI in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and he's dedicated his career to bridging the gap between cutting-edge technology and real-world needs. Hello, everybody. I'm Sanjay, Kalluvilayil, founder and CEO of Stonehouse Advisors, your trusted advisor for AI founders and businesses focused on go-to-market strategy and execution. First of all, welcome, Dan. Welcome back. On the AI podcast, we just jump right in to highlight game-changing insights that help founders drive innovation and scale business initiatives. First of all, welcome. But what do you see as the key trends, major trends in AI?
Well, I just wanted to say that I'm happy to be here again, together with my friend Sanjay. It's been an honor, and it's been already a year. And within the past 1 year in itself, things have changed a lot, right, in the AI space. Imagine, some company that were doing business a year ago, probably some of them may not exist already. As you can see, with the improvement of LLM and all that, they have replaced a lot of the what we call a wrappers company, right? So what I see is that in 2025, 2026, a lot of the startup can have to be more specialized. You're gonna have to go into vertical AI where you're actually solving real problem for a particular industry like construction, manufacturing, and so on. and that's kind of where we focus in as well.
Okay, great. And what do you see more mid to long term in terms of AI?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, for midterm, already people have been talking about agentic AI, but I see that the more we progress into this, you're going to see more and more physical AI, computer vision AI. You already seen like NVIDIA made an announcement early on this year at the CES about physical AI being their next trend, and along the way they have partnered with Toyota and many other automotive company, robotic company. So to me, the world is dynamic. The data that we have today in text format has already been trained by AI, and there's nothing new really. What's going to be different is where the private AI part and in the physical world where things change daily, and there's a lot to learn, and robotic will be a big thing. So that's what I see for sure, where private AI, one thing, and physical AI. So those are the two that I think mid to long term you're going to see a lot more.
Yeah, I think those are very important insights. There needs to be some sort of transition or transformation into some actually specific versus general areas, right? So going forward, what do you see as the top AI strategies to grow and scale a business, right? Now, if a business is launched, but how do you get it to that next level? What are your thoughts?
If we're looking for from a venture capital hat, like as you can see, I have two company in AI Connex and VC. If we're looking from a VC standpoint, the key to startup is really how viral they can get. This is like the age of AI revolution, the age of social media, right? Product market fit is almost how viral you can be. And one of the founder of Cluely, the AI that helped you cheat on everything, he became viral and famous very quickly this year, and all because he proven certain point, like his AI helped people cheat on interview. Cheating may be a negative thing, but to go viral on that is proven his product market fit, because people actually want such kind of AI tool to help them cheat on talking with the customer, getting some insight live. That use case proven to be very successful to him. And again, with a lot of the AI companies startup, they're gonna need to get to that product market fit fast. And the best way to do it is leveraging social media. So I would always say virality is a product now and the future. How can you go viral?
Yeah, I think, maybe we'll get in later in the episode, but how do we differentiate between prepping you or augmenting you versus cheating actually on an interview, right? And if you can find the right balance, right? I think that's maybe the trick for longevity. So
Hmm.
first of all, let's take a step back. Once ago, we can breathe a little bit. Wow, man, it's a year, right? And when I first started this, I'll be honest, I thought, okay, I'll do it for like 2 months and get 27
Yeah.
views and I'm done, right? But now we're approaching 2 million views, and have some great growth. I mean, that's due to the amazing guests. You're on the very second episode and you helped me launch this. So thanks again for coming back. And thanks for helping me relaunch this, right, in season 2. So tell us, we're not going to get back into a lot of your history because we had that in season 1, but remind folks in just a short, 2 or 3 minutes, what led you into the path into AI, right?
Yeah, I've always been in IT industry for like, I don't know, since I was 20 something. I have seen it all from old virtual chatbot to, digital transformation, industry 4.0, and now AI. But, I was too young at the time. I missed out a lot on like internet revolution, dot-com boom, even crypto. I was hesitant. I didn't have enough money to go like went crazy on it. I miss out on a lot of things. And now the AI revolution happened at the right time. I'm around like 40 something. I made a lot of the connection along the way. So I felt like, it was the right time. And if I didn't do anything during this AI revolution, I will regret. So that's kind of how I started. And a lot of my friends are, starting their own AI businesses. I met a lot of founders, investors that are all like in on AI since 2 years ago. So that's kind of like where I started. Same thing with my CTO. He has like 11 patents on AI. So I'm like, well, I got all the right pieces. So why not?
Yeah, no, that's amazing. Yeah, I transitioned about 2 years ago into the AI space and trying to get in there. But a lot's happened in the past year. So tell us, I've seen that you've been a lot more active, and let's talk about some of the awards, recognitions that you've gotten in the past year, right?
Yeah. Well, I was recognized as the AI 75 in 2024. That's kind of helping me ignite my fame, I guess, in this community kind of solidify. Right, people been seeing me already. I show up everywhere, you know,
Yeah,
attending
some people ask
events.
like with events like how Dan's everywhere. Have you cloned yourself? The AI avatar.
Yeah. Eventually, I want to buy this Optimus Prime robot and put my face on it or something.
And then also,
I went to like tech like the Gigafactory in Austin, and they said that that Gigafactory for Tesla is going to be where they manufacture the Optimus robot. Actually,
oh
so
wow, wow, yeah. And so
yeah.
then you've also been on some panels. You've been on some podcast speaking engagements, right? Things have really
Hmm.
boosted in the last
Yeah.
year, right?
Yeah. And I think again the key to success is really to be first, to be fast, and to be doing it with your passion. I was the first and I was fast to the market. Not many people doing events and focusing on AI consulting back when I started, right? So that's kind of helped people to recognize I'm the top voice in AI, at least for DFW. And then from there, I went to Singapore, Thailand, Japan, expanding our global reach. Did event with NVIDIA in Thailand and the whole banking association. Went to Singapore, be part of Super AI and having our booth there. I know the founders of Super AI, who also the founder of Token 2049, which is the biggest crypto event in the world. Last year they have host, well, this year actually, they already host two like major speaker like Eric Trump and Donald Trump Jr. as their speaker, for example, and many other top speaker from the industry as well. So yeah, I was just lucky to be part of it. And I tell everybody all the time, showing up is half the battle. I show up online, in person, everywhere I can in that AI industry just to be the voice, and then people recognize at the end you got to hustle, right? They recognize my hustle. I think people that are entrepreneur can see the passion and your hustle, and I think that's the key, right? Especially in the startup world, there's a lot of entrepreneurs out there, right, who know exactly what it takes to be where they are. So I think they recognize that even more. People in corporate world are a little bit different. I came from corporate world. I can see the difference in the passion and in how people recognizing things.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And then you also have some doing some advisory and you're doing stuff with the what is it, the Japanese American group, or
Hmm.
tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah. So recently I've been nominated uh, to the board of director for Japan America Society of DFW. I mean, Japan America Society of DFW been around for I think 50 years, right? A lot of time they mainly focus on cultural activity, but I met the president. I know a lot of the board members. My family are Japanese, and myself, I'm a Thai American, but I spent 10 years in Japan, so I felt like I'm also Japanese now that I have all that. At home we only speak Japanese, but the members that are the corporate members and the people that are in this Japan America Society, like top corporates, even in the world, like Toyota, 7-Eleven, Itoen that make the green tea, Mizuho Bank, all these like top companies in the world are in this organization, but we are not leveraging it from a business standpoint, right? And there's a lot of people in the US or in the world that want to work with Japanese company, top Japanese company like we have in the membership. So I talked to the president and he recognizes that, and I'm in the business world, so he asked me to come in and help change and shake things up, and that's exactly what I did. The first golf tournament, we were able to recruit many of IT companies that were never heard of Japan America Society of DFW before, but they came and sponsored. Almost half of the money raised was just through the new members that I brought in. So.
That's amazing. So tell us a little bit more about updates on AI Connects, and then we'll get into VC Arena. But updates from an AI Connects perspective. Remind our we may have a lot of new viewers, so tell them what AI Connects is, and what's happened in the past year.
Yeah, well, AI Connect, we're an AI consulting firm, but it's hard to tell what we do. The easy example is that we're like a mini Palantir. Palantir is one of the top AI company in the world. On this podcast a year ago, I think I told everybody about Palantir, about how big they will become. And at the time, I think their stock was $20. And if you guys have listened to me at that time, I think at the top of the peak, maybe last month or a couple of weeks ago, they have reached $200. So it had grown 10x since we talked last time.
Yeah, I know. I've
Right.
known about Palantir for a long time. Peter Thiel's been running that. And luckily, I had stock back then, but so.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
And I've been buying it, even now, like even when every time it go down to like 170, I still buy them when I
yeah,
can, just you want a dollar cost average on something you just to highlight on, who we are, right? Like Palantir, what they do at the back end is really, helping people build custom AI, private AI solution based on what we call ontologies. Ontology is like a knowledge base, right? Think of it as an AI brain. Right now, a lot of people been buying a lot of AI solution, creating a lot of AI solution, but to me, sometimes they're only creating a task AI. It only do one task. Great, it do that task best, but it doesn't solve the whole end-to-end process of the company. At the end, business are so complex, right? You got to look at the operation process, how people are doing things. So that's exactly where we come in. We looking at the operation, what's the use case on that, and measure that. Is it a $10 million problem? Is it $1 million problem? Are we going to spend $2 million to solve $1 million problem or $10 million problem? And then get down into it. And if we understand the business deep enough, then AI and technology is easy after that. The most important thing is business. Like I said all the time in all my interview, AI is 95% business and 5% technologies. If we understand the business and know where to apply it and what ROI or EBITDA we're impacting, that's probably the most important thing. The technology is so good now that anything can be possible. So
yeah. And I think the important point that you said, because you have to understand the pain point that you're solving, right, and how you're going to solve it. Because if you have a toothache, you probably need to find a dentist drill versus a jackhammer, right? You want to bring
Mhm.
a jackhammer
Mhm.
for a toothache, right? So and then if you're trying to create a new highway, maybe that makes sense, right? So same thing with the business,
Mhm.
right? What is the most efficient? Because people aren't buying your AI, they're not buying your tools. Are you solving a problem in a meaningful,
Mhm.
valuable way at the
Mhm.
end of the day, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sometimes AI can hurt you if your
Yeah.
operation, is bad. Of course, AI can automate things, make things quicker and faster. So if your operation is bad, imagine you make things faster and quicker, you're gonna end up losing money faster and quicker. That's the end of it, right? So if you don't fix all that, then AI really wouldn't help you.
So tell us a little bit more about VC Arena.
Hmm.
And I think when you came on last time, you were just announcing that you were getting VC Arena going, and now it's up and running and the community's growing. So talk a little bit about that.
VC Arena came from an idea, simple idea. Myself, I'm a founder. My good friend Jason Kim, he's a GP and a co-founder of a big multi-billion-dollar VC firm. He actually lives here in Dallas for tax reason, like a lot of the rich people do. But when he's here, he's like, "Man, I love Dallas, I love Texas, but it sucks because there's no place for him to go see any founder, any investor, no place to hang out. We don't even have the basic thing." And I felt the same when I met him. Like, yeah, this is like almost exactly a year ago when we met plug and play event at code launch event. We've been to so many events. It just felt like, yeah, there's a lot of event, but there's no real community behind it. What happened after the event? Nothing. We just go back to day one. Where we don't actually communicate with other founder and investor, and that basic thing ignite idea of creating a VC arena, which is a community of founder and investor. We sublease a nice big co-working space in downtown Dallas just to make that a place for everybody to just come and hang out. That's it. That's all we do. Just come and hang out, build a relationship. We don't teach you. We don't run any accelerator or an incubator. We're just a community for people to build real and lasting relationship. And I think that's the most important thing. If you want to learn anything, you can go learn on YouTube. Why spending all those important time when you're actually meeting some, real good founder and investor on learning something? Why don't you just spend those time building that relationship with them? And at the end, they may invest in you or they may help you when you don't actually have a lot of expectation and obligation, the magic actually happen.
Because especially especially here, a lot of entrepreneurs, we're doing remote work and we're kind of holed up in our office and in our homes, right? And this is kind of like an opportunity to go into a co-working space, into community, meeting with other people that are trying to build a business, figure out AI, and you can, iron sharpens iron at the end of the day, right?
Yeah, I love that because that's exactly what we do, right? We have people who are first-time founder and multiple time founder, multiple exits, people that wanted to give back, people that wanted to learn, from others, right? There's only like 1% of the whole population that probably learned and successfully exited the company. Those are the people that you wanted to talk to. A lot of the accelerator incubator program have mentors, but the mentor never had any real startup experience, no exit experience. So I feel like it's just what's the point sometimes.
Yeah,
So
and
that's
so
why we just try to like soft the basic thing, the,
yeah, no,
and
that's
build
amazing.
this
And
community.
I've seen the growth, and even now as I'm growing my podcast, and I realize, I need to expand and reach and do other things. And I actually joined VC Arena, last week, right? So I'm looking forward to
Yeah.
getting 2026 going. We're talking about maybe doing some joint events going forward, so
Yeah,
that,
well, welcome. Yeah, welcome to DC Arena. We definitely, love people like you who's passionate about what you do, and slowly you have grown this podcast channel. I think within a year to be able to monetize it, to grow it this fast, I think you have found something.
yeah.
You have
No,
something in you for that.
yeah, and I want to be around other people like that because I mean, for the entrepreneurs out there, being an entrepreneur can be very lonely and depressing at times, right? It can be very energizing too, but there's a lot of people who
Hmm.
don't understand the stress that you're under, the financial pressure, the family pressure, a lot of different things when you're trying to make things happen, right? And sometimes it's good to be around other people too, right?
Hmm. Yeah, exactly.
What about in terms of have you worked with any startups lately in the past year, like funding wise, etc.?
Yeah. I mean, we always, work a lot with startup. I think majority of the people in our community are startup founders and then investors and service providers. As an advisor for Legendary Ventures, right? Like VC Arena in itself, it's just a community. We don't fund anybody, right? We don't actually have a fund, but we partner with a lot of the venture capital that do have a fund, like Legendary Ventures, who's been partner of us from day one. Legendary Ventures have been looking at the company that are in this community, and it happened naturally at the end. Right, that Jason, who's the co-founder of this fund, just hanging out with the founders here, and he get to learn more about what you do. Oh, some of them, he's actually looking at investing, for example. Right, I can't disclose who they are, but I mean, already I think he probably look at 3 to 5 deals just within the community itself, right?
You also mentioned too that you're looking. I think we had a pre-talk and looking to open it up to others. The funding you're looking for new investors, etc. Going into 2026. Can you elaborate on that?
Well, I mean, from the VC arena standpoint, right, we wanted to invite more VCs to be in our community because at the end, our vision is to make Dallas the AI capital of the world, the VC capital of the world. We have the potential to be the next Silicon Valley, right? And I think people believe in it. Like we just partnered with McKinney EDC, McKinney Economic Development Corporation. They have become our title sponsor. We're going to make the announcement pretty soon. And officially, I think you just heard from us first here. And hopefully, by the time this one launch, you may see our announcement already. And then we can have our kind of like a satellite community up in McKinney as well, along with that.
Yeah, for those that don't know, you're in downtown Dallas. McKinney's further north Dallas, right near Frisco, Plano, etc. Right. So then they're doing a lot to try to attract AI companies to the McKinney area. If you office there, they're giving they have funding, etc., office space, etc. So that's great.
Texas is great for that, and I think McKinney is one of the the most aggressive and innovative city that really supporting the startup. Like I
Yeah.
don't see anybody that giving away non-dilutive funding for you to move your headquarters there. They're super supportive, and I can see the growth within McKinney just because of that. They're doing the right thing, and a lot of people are are trying to copy them, and we are
Yeah,
just happy to be a partner.
I don't want to give any false numbers out there, but I've heard 50,000 to even 500,000, depending on the size of the entity, right, and size of the people that you're bringing in, right?
Exactly. At the end, it's about how many people, how many jobs are you creating in that, right?
Hmm.
But at the same time, they can also in turn introduce you to many businesses in that area and even beyond McKinney, right? The benefit is beyond the money. The benefit is being part of that ecosystem, gain you access to, corporates that they're working with. Like they just moved the headquarter or a big function of Globe Life insurance company there. For example, Encore, electricity offices there. A lot of people don't even know they have so many big corporates. And then now the new airport, McKinney Airport, is going to open up next year, right?
Oh
Just
wow.
before FIFA 2026.
Oh wow, that's amazing. What about the AI space podcast resonate with you? Hey, I'll come back and be a guest on the show. Even after a year, right? What say? Hey, I'll come back.
Yeah, I love this show. You've been a good friend and supporter of AI Connex and the community. We all try to support each other. We have grown a lot. We have now expanding many other business area like AI training. We partner with Texas Workforce Commission to provide free AI training for any company under 100 employees for both for profit and nonprofit. And we have built a new platform called AI for SMB, AI for small medium businesses. Imagine CRM, ERP, HubSpot, DocuSign, and then with AI on top, everything in one, all created by us using open source and stuff to make it cheaper for you. Right? We have grown within the last 1 year in doing both product services and training and many others. So just happy to be back here, and hopefully in 2026 we expand even more to something new, and I can come back and share it again.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I'll put you on the recurring cycle, and I'm thankful that you came back. You've been doing amazing stuff, and yeah, I know you've done amazing stuff in 2025, and you have amazing, and just all the stuff that you rattled off that you've accomplished, right, and what you're going to do in 2026. So before we continue, I want to invite everyone to follow Dan Sinawat, AI Connects, and VC Arena. Definitely like, comment, subscribe to the AI Space podcast, but that helps us to grow the show and have more innovative guests like Dan. Let's a little bit talk about technology, and you talk about ontology, et cetera, right?
Mhm.
Going into 2026, or maybe talking a little bit about 2025 and going to 2026, what have you seen as like tools and frameworks for building like a solid AI ML architecture and tech stack, right? Maybe let's just start about some of the methodology or frameworks. You mentioned ontology, right? So what do you see like 2025 and 2026 from a technology perspective?
Well, I think a lot of people been talking about MCP. It's like a mini knowledge base in a way. It's in itself kind of like an ontology to me. So you're gonna hear a lot about MCP servers that replicating a lot of the existing infrastructure so that you can run a test or pilot sooner and quicker, leveraging almost like a real data and the flow of the company, like a digital twin. Yeah, I think that probably easier. A digital twin version of your current infrastructure in a way, right? You're going to see a lot of that. For me, the big thing is validation. How do we validate the work of an AI? That's going to be big in this year because I don't know, you have seen the report by MIT that 95% of the AI project fail, and it failed because of people are just focusing on technology side too much, right? And then they didn't really looking at the business and then actually try to replicate what's going on in the real business world. Most of the projects are still stuck at the prototype because they don't have a real data or synthetic data that is close enough to the real world. So when you actually put it in production, it will break. Sometimes there's too much of a good data, but no black swan case. So when there's an exception coming in, then now your AI doesn't know how to deal with it. Creating that real world-like synthetic test data or test environment will be super important to make sure that AI solution can deploy in the production. And that's exactly what we are working on. We start working with the automotive group, a big Japanese automotive group, to kind of help them creating some of that, right? But we're just at the beginning. The more we can get into the vertical, and that's why I highlight that vertical AI will be super important. And once you be able to capture that expertise, you're going to be able to to build that replication, the data that would almost replicate the real world, right? And that will become, I think, important in 2026, how a lot of these prototype projects that you have seen can go into production. Then that's where the real big AI adoption will happen, when people actually see that these AI solution can actually work in the real production environment.
Yeah, and you mentioned model MCP, model context protocol, is developed by Anthropic, right? So when people are trying to make a lot of these automations, right, it involves connecting to other apps, which involves API calls, which can be cumbersome. So model context protocol tries to be like a USB of that to make everything much more simple in terms of a smoother integration with the different apps, right? And then going back to the MIT paper, I think there's a lot of good things in that paper, but I'd read it too, and I think they had done 50 plus interviews, right? And I don't know how that sample selection can be made for the whole group, but I think the key point there is like the reason it's 95% failed is that I think they were measuring going to production, right? So there are some issues with that paper, but there are some good points coming out of it. And I think one of the key things is like you said, what is the use case for what they're trying to solve, and it's around Gen AI, right? And the other big takeaway was it depended on the organization's ability to actually deploy the AI, right? So some of them weren't as trained up or sophisticated enough to deploy the AI. So I would encourage everyone to read the paper, and there's good things there and bad things in there, but a lot of things that you said are right, that if we're going to be successful in 2026, those are some of the critical things to figure out. Like, what's the use case? What's the timeline? What are you trying to solve? The investments. Is your organization ready to actually deploy it into production, right? And kind of like what you
Mhm.
said, are you solving $1 million problem with $2 million? Are you solving $1 million problem or a $10 million problem, right?
Yeah, exactly. Right. You gotta measure the result at the end, right? Like
Yeah.
to prove that your AI project is successful. If you don't even know that metrics in the beginning, then how do you even know it's gonna be successful, right? And that's the whole point of it. That people are it's sexy to talk about technologies, but it's easy as well. That's why it's not really gonna be effective if you're just focusing on that technology piece, right? The hard part is the business. To understand the construction world take years of being involved in that construction environment, understanding the whole operation and process, how people do site survey, what kind of topsoil, the aerial image changes every year. How do you leveraging AI to actually scan through the change over 100 year, right? And then looking at the slope angle, right? All these complex thing. Again, it requires that domain expertise to really understand where exactly can we apply AI to solve it, and that's why at AI Connex we really put a lot of focus on this vertical solution. Like we have built AI for construction, AI for logistic, AI for manufacturing, AI for retail property management. Even within the prop tech world, there's so many different area that you can apply AI to, contract management, all these kind of things.
So when you say on the Workforce Commission, you're doing some AI training, can you
So.
elaborate on that and like what are they actually getting trained on?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's amazing that, Texas has a lot of the grants money for upskilling the workforce. And I think workforce development will be a big thing going forward. Imagine back in, I don't know, 1990 something, when everybody started using Microsoft Words and Excel and PowerPoint, right? There was so much of certification around that, correct? I even took a few. So imagine we're back into those days of the Microsoft Office, the internet boom. This is the AI.
Cisco certifications, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's not only certification, but it's building that fundamental knowledge, and then to move the whole company forward. Like you said, maybe that workforce they're not even ready to adopt AI because they don't actually understand AI the same way, right? When you said AI, people think, oh, ChatGPT. What do I do with that? All these different kind of thought about AI. You have to like put give them the standard, the fundamental. So what we do with the TWC is we leveraging this grant and then just teaching a lot of the businesses the basic of AI so that the whole company, let's say they have 100 or thousands employee, will understand AI the same way. What's the ethical usage of AI? Don't use your private version of ChatGPT, for example. And if you do you even know that there's an option in all the ChatGPT, Gemini, and all that, that they actually have a setting that you can actually uncheck to not use your data for training. A lot of people don't even know that basic thing,
Yeah, yeah.
right?
No, I
And
think that's an important point for those that don't know. Like, if you are putting your company data into a private chat GPT, you can most likely be sending that data for the model to train on, right? I mean, there was an example a year or two ago, Samsung employees putting in important Samsung information into chat GPT, right? So you want to avoid that. And there's a setting in your LLM, whatever one you use, right, to turn that off and to know when you need to use that or not. So I think that's an important point to bring up.
right, yeah, and that basic thing, like make sure everybody understand it the same way. Creating an AI policy inside your organization, you have IT policy already, right? Computer usage policy. I think 99% of the people don't have an AI policy yet, right? Maybe even updating your policy that is 5 years old, 10 years old, with something new like that, and then go on to the tools. What are the tools for? Can you use Gamma to create a presentation for you, which make life easier? Prompt engineering, how can you prompt better to get better result? How can you use different image generation tool to help with your marketing, sales, and etc. All these little thing matters. At the end, it can change. It can help you improve efficiency, maybe even up to like 15 to 30% by just leveraging the right tool for the right task. Right, those little things we teach, and then after that, if they wanted to really leveraging AI for their business operation, then we can come in and look at the whole strategy, and then applying maybe custom AI solution, private AI solution to help them further.
I think you also said something very important earlier about companies already have IT policies, right? They have legal policies, they have branding policies, they have IP, right? Security, all these things, and they're launching this AI. And have they put together a governance framework or a policy to know to enable the company and its employees to know, hey, what's a proper use of this information, right? And how does it flow, and how is it protected, right? And I think a lot of people race to go, hey, I want to get into AI, so to boost their image or evaluation. But you can kind of take a step back and say, okay, do we have an AI policy in place, right?
Exactly, and even like from a cybersecurity standpoint, have you ever pen test your AI agents, for example? Right? A lot of people just deploying.
Oof.
Yeah, you never even pen testing or testing it from a cybersecurity standpoint,
Yeah, did you
right?
just open up a back door to your company, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's gonna be a major concern because you're gonna generate a bunch of AI agents that probably go out of control and lacks security and compliance behind it, right? So how do you protect that? So we're working with many of our cybersecurity partner to solve that.
Yeah. And so what do you see going in 2026, either from what changes do you see from a LLM or these automation tools or vibe coding or these image generation? What do you see happening in 2026 and beyond, right? In
Hmm,
terms
hmm.
from a technology perspective.
Yeah, well, I think 2026 is going to be a big, apply AI and private AI, growth, right? Because now that the tools are out there, how can they apply it for business? And that's why we work, together with the state, leveraging some of this grant money to help train people on AI. But then we also build our own, AI, private AI platform for customer to leverage the most potential of that. If you imagine the World Cup is coming 2026, the whole world is coming to the US, Canada, and Mexico. And then I talked to some people in like the Texas Restaurant Association. They don't think most people are ready for that. 100 different languages of the people are coming in from 100 different countries, and millions of people are flocking in to Texas from a supply standpoint to customer service standpoint to all these things, right? Like just we're just not so ready for this, and this the right time to actually applying AI technology to help with that. You can have an AI kiosk that you can talk to people in many different languages. You're gonna have to hiring a lot of people that can speak different languages. How do you even screen these people, right? Because you can't speak Japanese, you can't speak Chinese, you can't speak Portuguese and Spanish. leveraging AI technology would help you in so many ways.
Yeah, the World Cup is coming in 2026. A lot of different cities, Dallas is going to be inundated too. So what you said from an infrastructure perspective, telecommunications, supply chain for restaurants, fuel, hotels,
Yeah,
grocery
yeah,
stores,
yeah,
everything. And you said, yeah, people speaking every nation on every language on earth, and plus all the different dialects.
yeah,
How do you
yeah,
coordinate that? There's going to be different food expectations and style, and
yeah,
yeah, how can we leverage AI to make that better in terms of the
yeah.
communication, automation, efficiency, experience, right?
Hmm.
Is somebody going to be launching an app for these folks to come in and to manage that experience? Hey, this is where the game is, and this is where you need to go, and obviously security implications of entering into a stadium, right? So there's a lot of different
Hmm.
applications, right?
Yeah, and I can talk so much more around this because I've been involved. I've been pushing this. If you hear from my message from even 2 years ago that this World Cup is gonna change everything, and it's a big opportunity for all of us here in Dallas, in Texas, in the US, and Canada and Mexico. I want to show the world when the people come here that Texas is the major technology hub, right? And we can actually show them by some of these technology, like my friend at NextRage, he has built an XR platform that can show it. Think of Pokemon Go for sports stadium and all this, right? You can put a lot of the items around the city or in different stadium, and people can go collect them. That's amazing, right? That's already encouraging people to explore outside of AT&T Stadium in Arlington, for example, right? When they should go to Frisco to collect some of these item to see Ford Center the Dallas Cowboy headquarters. They should go to McKinney to see the innovation hub, So all these technology can be done. And then another company who I'm working very closely with called Blue Core, which is an a blue collar worker AI job marketplace. That in itself is an innovation that is very close to my heart. It's something that actually bridged the gap between innovation and humanity. It's very simple app, but you can call or go to this website all by phone and just creating a resume. Imagine skilled worker who never have a PC and don't even know how to build a resume, right? And only speak Spanish or only speak Chinese can just call this app or call this phone number and start talking to AI and get their first resume done after like 15 minutes of conversation and then get a job match right away. So now people can find server that can speak Chinese, right? They can find a welder that speaks Spanish. Imagine how it would help with this World Cup,
Yeah, I
right?
think you were
And
telling me the story of how that founder came up with the idea. Maybe you can share that story.
yeah, it's so simple, right? The founder was in a butcher shop in New York, and then one African American guy came up to the owner and said, "Hey, you have any job, brother?" And the owner's like, "Sorry, I don't have any." And then he just left disappointed. And my friend, he just asked, like, "Hey, man, why are you looking for job this way? Have you even used Indeed?" He's like, "Yeah, of course I use Indeed, but I never get any hit.
Yeah,
Why?"
or
Like,
LinkedIn, right?
yeah, I don't even think he know what LinkedIn,
Yeah, that's true.
and LinkedIn is mainly for white collar worker, and that's exactly another point too. My friend like, hey, show me your resume if you have. Like, yeah, I have a resume. He opened up his phone and then go to the camera roll, and then in the camera roll is a picture of his physical resume, and that's what he's been sending people. Imagine, who's gonna hire you from a picture of a resume, and that's like 5 years old, and then he realized, oh, you're an electrician. Why are you even in the butcher shop looking for job by the anyway, right? And he's like, yeah, what if I create a solution, an AI that talk to you all by phone and generate you a resume? Would you like that? And he's like, yeah, of course. So he actually went home, built that in one day, and came back and let him try it. And then he was able to create a resume and create his digital profile and got a match of an electrician. That's the innovation that can help humanity. Right. And then I call this platform and Indeed and LinkedIn for blue collar workers.
We're seeing unemployment rising, especially with AI. You see whether it's AI's fault or people are using AI as a reason. You see Accenture and all the the Metas and the Googles and even international companies in India that are known for business process outsourcing, etc., are
Mhm.
doing this, right? And anything that can be automated is a candidate for AI, right? But I think one of the
Mhm.
hardest jobs to automate will be the blue collar work in a sense, right? And to be able to solve a solution where you can get people meaningful jobs to pay to support themselves and their families, right? I think
Mhm.
that's a good use of AI, you know.
And that's exactly our mission, is to help some of these workers. And we have been working with prison fellowship, homeless shelter, refugee camp, veteran group to help these second chance worker get back to the society, leveraging this AI platform that help them match the right job and even being found in the first place. A lot of them doesn't have their digital profile. And that's why I felt like for the first time in so many years, I found a platform that actually connects innovation and humanity, because this can do something very impactful. Imagine it helped someone that came out of the prison landing a job because he was able to create a resume even from when he was in the prison by calling this phone number, talking to an AI, explain his skill, the trade skill that he being trained on while inside the prison, right? And when he got out, he was able to get a job match right away, go back to society, getting his first paycheck to be back with his family, and buying the first Christmas present to his son or daughter for the first time in I don't know how many years. That to me is what we live for. That is using innovation the right way.
No, you're absolutely right, and I think you also mentioned about battered and abused women in a previous conversation, and to me that's amazing too, because giving these women an opportunity to potentially get a job to support themselves and maybe their children and to escape a dangerous and or potentially hostile environment, right? Well, not
Mhm.
potentially, but obviously a hostile environment, and those are good things to do with AI, right?
Yeah, yeah. And then even not only just helping them landing the job, but helping them staying on the job. That's even phase two of the conversation. How can we help them continue on? Like a lot of time they may land at the job, but may not be able to keep up with that because one, transportation is a big thing, right? They can't get to work. Then they give up
Then there's
because
then
they
there's
don't have the car.
daycare, there's training, the skill sets that they need, right?
Yeah, exactly. And there's so many of these nonprofit organizations that actually have these resources, but they don't know about it, right? So now we're gonna work with a lot of these nonprofit organizations that provide free 30-day bus ticket if you stay in a job more than 30 days, right? For example, and then it continue on. It's win-win for everybody, right? These nonprofit organizations already have grant money to support these people, but they just don't know how to find them. And same thing, they don't know where to get these resources. We can create an AI that actually give them a follow-up call, ask them about how's their job been, maybe even share the feedback back to the manager, and then feeding them with additional support information. Hey, how's your transportation? Is everything okay for you to get to work? Like, oh yeah, having trouble. It's so expensive. I don't have money for bus ticket in the beginning. So all these like, oh, have you ever thought about these resources? We can help you apply for this bus tickets grant or something. Like you can see leveraging the AI and technology the right way can do so much more for the society.
No, you're absolutely right. Because there's a lot of resources out there, but in any society, when it's a large city or anywhere, it's hard to find out where those there's a lack of information, lack of access, right? So how do you get the resources to the people, right? And so that's amazing. What do you see as the critical insights around vision, mindset, and strategy for long-term success, whether it's for any company or when you're assessing a company, right? Or an individual, right? What can you share around that?
I think for a startup or for any businesses, do you actually solve something? What's the outcome of your solution or of your business? I was saying earlier, virality is the product nowadays. What I mean is that you can get the product market fit. You can see the response of the market that there's a need for your solution or not quicker leveraging social media. And same thing, if you are clear about the business, and again, like said in the beginning, AI is 95% business and 5% technology. This Blue Core platform, to me, right, proving that, because if you think about it, what they're giving you is not the technology, it's the outcome, right? It's the story behind it. The story makes sense, and people understand that story right away. then of course they're gonna be able to think how to applying that. Oh, it's creating you a resume by just doing a phone call. That's simple, but that's the simpler the better. And then it matching you the job. That's it. And then I can explain it's the LinkedIn and Indeed for blue collar worker. It's 10 seconds, everybody understand what it does. Same thing with this Cluely, right? It's the AI that help you cheat on everything. That one sentence is enough. Now company know where to go if they want their sales guy to be able to cheat on a sales call, because they if someone talk to me about football and I have no idea about football or who Tom Brady is, I have an AI assistant live on my screen that telling me, some insight around NFL, around like Tom Brady, who's the GOAT, why his customer mentioned that because he's now like an anchor on some TV show or football program. A lot of that kind of insight. Imagine doing research life, it's impossible. See, delivering those outcome and clear outcome is making people see the value of your solution or your business.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Because if you're not solving a pain point that solves, the client or the end user's problem in a meaningful and in a valuable way, right? And they're not willing to pay for it on a repeated basis, and then you're not solving a problem, right? Like I use this horrible example. Like I would never want you to put a hot metal plate on my hand, but if I was bleeding, I'd pay you $100 to put a hot metal blade or plate on my hand. And obviously, we don't need that extreme example. A lot of people try to fabricate. Hey, like on social media, I'm going to try to make this viral. And they try to fabricate it. Something that's truly viral cannot be fabricated. You have to it has to resonate with people. It has to bring meaning to people. And the reason something goes viral is because it does something that resonates deep inside somebody. That's like, wow, and they want to share it, right? It's something that's natural. It's not something that you can fabricate it, but it won't last very long for long-term success, right? You may get your 15 seconds or 15 minutes of fame, but you're not going to be something you're not doing something that's going to create long-term value at the end of the day.
I see so many startup through like venture arena, VC arena, and even like being in the community, go to the events. A lot of people try to create a product, right? Try to start a startup. And I tell them it's easy to start a company, to start to build a product. It's hard to actually be successful in landing them. And it's harder to find a clear product market fit and a story. I think the most important thing is understand that story. What is your story?
It has to be
Right?
authentic, and it has to be an authentic story too, right?
Yeah, yeah. And that story in itself is like this virality. What exactly are you solving, right? What is how would you connect and resonate with your user? Most people don't think that.
Yeah, so let's take it to the next level. Now you got your first initial clients, etc. So what advice do you have them to grow and scale to the next level, right? And then they got a couple of customers, the virality's kind of going, but how do you grow and scale, right?
Yeah, and that come down to like go to market. Yeah, you got to be good at understanding your go to market. Now that you see, the product market fit, can you work with certain association, like we are trying to work with the restaurant association or specific like glass industrial association or many association that we can work with to expand this blue core, for example, right, into the employers in that require a lot of the blue collar workers, and vice versa. How do we grow more of the candidate database, for example? That growing the candidate database is also very important. So working with prison fellowship group that have millions of people coming back to society, right, that need to find a job, that without giving them a stable job and a place to go back to society, they could repeat again the crime, which I don't think people would. But again, we wanted to make sure everybody's successful. How do we help them, right? So working with, again, that's come down to your go-to-market strategy, right? Now you find your niche, then you gotta scale it.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Go-to-market strategy execution is very important. And I think your first initial clients will teach you. They'll tell you what's right, what's not wrong. I think you need to listen very closely and find out the best and most efficient way to deliver that experience, right? And then when you find that consistency, obviously everything's not going to be 100% the same, but if you get 60 to 80% foundation, then you can customize 20 to 40%, right? And that's when you need to scale. Because like you said earlier too, if you have bad processes and bad everything, right? You're just going to magnify that, right? If you're losing a dollar, or if you're losing a dollar every, for everything that you do, I'm just using a simple case, and you do that a million times, you just lost $1 million, right? So you got to make sure you're not, you don't want to magnify that. Oh, well, we're going to go scale right now. Well, and people go, oh, it's not my money. It's like some VC guy's money. So, well, yeah, at the end of the day, either you're burning your money or somebody else's money. And those, even the VC guys, they have families too, and they have bosses and they have metrics they have to meet. And so I think some people just treat you. What are your thoughts? Sometimes the VC money is funny money, or like, hey, it doesn't really matter to them. They can afford to
Yeah.
lose it. So what are your thoughts on that? Those kind of sentiments or thoughts from people?
Yeah, like definitely. I think people today are probably watching too much of a social media, right? Seeing all these success from different startup, but they thought it's a free money. It's not, right? It's someone else money. How you gotta value that money, like before you borrow. At the end, you're borrowing money from VC or angel investor. They want their return, right? That $50,000, $100,000 are someone else college education saving,
Or
for
and blood,
example,
sweat, and tears, blood, sweat,
right?
and tears that they built over 10, 20 years, or 30 years, or 40 years, and they're trying to build a retirement savings. And now there's, hey, I'm going to give back and help other companies. But I think also this society tries to divide between the rich and the poor. Like, oh, that guy's a millionaire or billionaire, so they're evil,
hmm
and we can do whatever we want with their money.
Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And those people probably in jail maybe, because people want their money back at the end of the day. And you gotta be responsible, do the best you can. If your company fail for the right reason, and you did everything you could, well then that you already tried. But like a lot of the people actually like, raise all this money and go out and buy like expensive car, a nice condo, then you
A
can see like,
Rolex watch, Ferrari, nice Louis Vuitton.
yeah,
Anyway,
yeah.
yeah. So we talked a little bit about democratization. We've actually talked a lot about democratization. But what do you see going into 2026 as key challenges and opportunities in making AI accessible more to founders and businesses from a variety of industries, experiences, backgrounds? How can we bridge this gap?
Well, I think if we are talking about democratizing access to AI, we created a nonprofit called AI Connex Outreach. Our mission is AI access for all. That's kind of how we try to solve that and bridge that gap. AI education, starting with education, right? Inspiring these kids and family that don't be afraid of AI, and it's actually going to help you. It help you generate resume in any languages, and you can speak to AI in any languages and get the result you want. Helping you understanding some of your bill from the city. Some people, it's the first time moving to the US. They don't know how to take care of certain things. What are the assessment? How do you even like petition all those assessment, or even looking for job, or all these little things, right? Even translating some of the document or job application, right? You can leveraging these two to make you become successful, but people are just too afraid of it. So we're working with Hispano Hablantes, which is a big Hispanic community here in Frisco, lead by my friend Alma. Every month we would have like a technology class that teaches Hispanic family different technologies and AI and different things, right? Yeah,
That's
that's
amazing.
that's one way.
Yeah, that's amazing. And in terms of ethical AI, how do we balance AI innovation with responsible development, right? And we talked about a
Yeah.
little bit more about the policies and frameworks. What else
Mhm.
see from an ethical perspective we kind of need to hone in on?
Yeah. Well, at the end, explainable AI will be important. Where do you get that result from, right? Which document and which section, right? When we built AI platform, we actually put a lot of focus on that. Is explainable AI. Right, that will be the key part. You can't put a lot of rules and regulation around innovation, which it may stall innovation. How can you put a guardrail and making sure that you at least can check your work, right, and understand the source of your work, right? For the private organization, I think that would be important, right? From a bigger scale, like legislative standpoint, if you compare Europe and US, they have this EU AI Act, right? To me, that's too much. It's kind of, gonna probably prevent a lot of the AI startup from Europe to be successful. And that's why you see so many company are moving their startup here to the US. This is kind of like a free market where they can test out getting their customer and helping them, freely and really try to be innovative. It's got to have the good balance.
Yeah, we got to find a balance. So, any concluding thoughts, insights, encouragement, those that are seeking to build out in this space or struggling to build their business?
Yeah, again, it go back to what are you solving and finding your story within your startup and within your business, right? What exactly are you solving and how would you resonate with your audience, right? Understanding that is probably gonna help you become successful. It's at the core, right? Why you even start the company in the first place. A lot of people start in the company because they just want to build something. It's almost like internal ego to me. You're just building something for you to show off your skill or your technical prowess or something like that. But it's not, right? A lot of people that are successful, like Steve Jobs and all these, big innovator, they're trying to solve a problem first, right? They're not out there creating a business from day one. And that's, I think, sometimes a lot of these entrepreneurial classes is good. It may be pointing you to the wrong direction. So,
No, you're absolutely right, because I know I started my consulting business last year on AI consulting, and that was going to be my main thing. But then I said, someone reached out to me about a podcast. I said, hey, why don't I give back? I'm sure other people are struggling to build on this AI space. Why don't I invite other AI founders and builders to come on and share their insights and to help others, right? And it's kind of funny. This is kind of like turning me almost into my primary. And this was not intended to be my primary, because actually it came from I was just trying to give back, right? Obviously there's some
mhm,
side benefits in terms of building a brand authority, all that, but that wasn't the primary purpose. But
mhm,
I think when you are giving back in a sense and helping others, that there's unintended blessings in a sense to that. Maybe I can say that, right? I wouldn't have expected this to be where it is, but I guess the fact that it's trying to help others, figure out this AI space. And another advice I would like to give too is, like, I wouldn't be as successful if I hadn't reached out to other folks. And, because entrepreneurship can be lonely, right? So I encourage those to join a local community if you're in a different city or a different country. But if you're in the Dallas Fort Worth area, definitely look at AI Connect, VC Arena. But then you also have a global community too, right? For VC
mhm.
Arena.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We are expanding. We're looking at Miami, Singapore, Thailand, Japan. So yeah, but we already have a network of our global chapters, right? We just don't have physical presence. I think, as you can see, there's people in the chat group in our global community. Hey, I'm going to Lisbon. Who's there? And I'm gonna be in Singapore, right? This kind of help at the end, like you said, when you go to somewhere new, it can be lonely. But if you have someone in your community that help you making some introduction for you, right, that changes a lot of things.
Yeah, and Dan, I could definitely talk to you all day about the future of the AI space. We've come up on time. Where's the best place for our listeners so they can learn more about AI Connects, VC Arena, or connect with you?
The best thing is just follow me on LinkedIn. Just I'm probably the only Dan Sinawat in the world on LinkedIn.
Yeah,
So
I think that's where we kind of share. I'm probably the only Sanjay Kalluvilayil in the world, I think, at least so far. So that's amazing, Dan Sinawat. All right. So don't forget. Well, first of all, everyone, make sure to check out and connect with Dan Sinawat, and the links will be up. Don't forget to follow us on LinkedIn, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and find us on your favorite podcast platforms like Spotify or Apple. Dan, I learned so much from this episode. I can't thank you enough. Thanks for coming back for season 2 and helping me launch it and sharing your insights. So thanks, Dan. I'm your host,
no
Sanjay
problem with
Kalluvilayil.
that.
Yeah, I'm your host, Sanjay Kalluvilayil, founder and CEO of Stonehouse Advisors. I hope you gained a wealth of game-changing, real-world insights to grow, transform, and scale to new levels and dimensions leveraging AI. See you all next time. Thanks so much. All right.
Thanks, and up for 10 million view next time.
Actually, that is the goal.